Hello, everybody. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. Just did an awesome show with an expert in the field of embalming. And the white clots that are happening in there. Tom Haviland, great guy, former military major in the U.S. Air Force and contractor, and then basically called it all out. So he's getting a lot of embalmers that we tried to get for many, many years. He's getting them to talk, right? So you guys need to go check that out, share it widely, because there seems to be a lot of people that are still having problems understanding and believing that COVID vaccination was a very, very bad thing, right? So he's proven it, and the bombers are improving it. So let's give him a hand. Let's get this information out there so that we can get more people involved, because doctors are like not supporting getting this information out there, although they have lots of evidence, obviously, of people having lots of problems with that COVID shot, guys. And hopefully, I think at some point, some of these doctors, nurses, and so forth, I know everybody wants to like hold them accountable, but just like people that got vaccinated, they were pressured into doing something probably against most of their will. So not many of us are heroes, right? It takes somebody with a lot of courage and massive cojones, I guess. I don't know. Women, I don't know. They don't have cojones, but they came out too. So it's not just about cojones. So there's amazing people that are sharing, have been sharing for a long time. And getting this out there is going to make a huge difference. All right, so let's look at some arrests that are starting to happen. Of course, I did a show last night with several people: Scott McKay, Josh Reed, and who's that one lady that everybody seems to have a problem with? She's just like fired everybody up. So I don't know. I'm not going to say her name. So maybe you guys would just go over there and watch that anyway. So go over to Scott McKay's and watch the video, his newest video. Okay, Carrie Cassidy. So I love Carrie. We all love Carrie. Most of us, I guess. But there's a lot of people like she's opinionated, but it's just a discussion, right? So and that's what we all need to have, just like we should be having discussions over the problems with the COVID vaccination. We should have a discussion about it. A lot of people are scared about it, and some people have their own opinions about it. And if you're not of that same opinion, then you get attacked, just like many of us got attacked because we didn't support the COVID vaccine, guys. So she brings up a lot of good points. Stay with it. Pay attention. And, we talked about yesterday about Carrie brought up good points, and Scott brought up good points about, maybe one of the reasons why they're not doing arrests and, coming after people and getting things done is because we, the people, haven't spoken out, and it's they're waiting for us to get motivated. So last night we were motivated, and we're like, by God, there better be some arrests start happening, or, come spring and summer, we're going to be like, we're going to push back hard. And today, and it seems to happen this way, when we speak out, many of you probably spoke out as well, and now they're talking about arrest. The Clintons today, because I brought that up. I was like, the Clintons, that's bullshit. They should be arrested for blowing off Congress. Everybody else that's done that has gone to jail. What's up with the Clintons? So the Clintons today said they're going to come and say, because I guess it's moving forward for them to actually be arrested. And they today came forward and said, oh, yeah, we'll come and talk about Jeffrey Epstein, because they've released the Jeffrey Epstein files. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Man, so many things are being, revealed, and that was bound to happen. Now the Democrats aren't looking so good, but they don't care. They'll like self-sacrifice, I guess, to get at Trump. You're like, throw yourself off the cliff. Jump off the cliff. You know, they're demonic and they're Luciferian, so satanic. So they'll kill each other off just to get at one person, and that's Trump. So Mamdani, we're looking at Mamdani. This is the latest thing. His mommy, had, I guess, some kind of relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and that's where he's from, because he came from nowhere. Mamdani came from nowhere, and now he's the mayor of New York. He never did anything, but somehow he got to that position. Isn't that funny? So Mamdani, he's the offspring of Jeffrey Epstein, who's not dead, right? And I've said this many times. I said it right from the beginning. He's not dead, right? So Mamdani's daddy is Jeffrey Epstein. Let's just come right out and say it. Wow. If it wasn't so revelatory to me, at least yesterday or the day before, where I talked about how Macron and his wife is actually his daddy. Right? My God. Oh my God. These Luciferians are out of control. They're out of control, man. So Trump, meanwhile, a month after Maduro's capture, is Cuba close to collapsing? Because Venezuela basically was supporting all the way back to, you have to go all the way back to Chavez. So Fidel Castro, the former dictatorial leader of Cuba, once referred to Hugo Chavez as Cuba's best friend because he was giving them oil. And then Cubans went to Venezuela and they were basically running the country. And Trump comes in and is like, get out and you're not going to get any more oil. And I guess Trump talked to Mexico. And Mexico, he's like, you guys don't give them any more oil either. So Claudia Sheinbaum is like, yes, sir. Right. So Mexico's not going to ship them any oil either. They're going to do an embargo have been for a month. Embargo. Nobody gets any oil into Cuba. So Cuba only has enough for about a month store. So their military and all their other, stuff is basically, they're not going to have anything. Of course, they'll probably keep some for their military all the way to the end. And the people will die before the military gives it up in Cuba. But, this is pushing probably Cuba over the edge, guys. And so easy takedown of Cuba. No shots get fired, and we don't have to put any Marines there or fire any missiles or anything like that, like we talked about during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now, Juan has talked about a Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0. Is it going to come from Cuba? I don't know. We'll see. All right. Maybe it got some missiles laying around there from the Russian days. I don't know. We'll see. But oil is drying up, except for here in America. We got so much oil, we're like exporting it again. Amazing how that happened. Biden, Obama's little boy, that was executed before he even got into office. So whoever that was, he basically, shut all the pipelines down and tried to stop all the pumping of oil in America. Trump came in and just started right back up, and oil prices are down like crazy. Everything runs off of energy. Most of the costs that we have associated with pretty much all the products we have, guys, 70% is energy related. So if energy prices go down, then all prices go down, and that's starting to happen, right? Even though it's a little slow in the movement, it is happening now. Arrest. Taco Jill Biden's ex-husband charged with murdering wife today. William Stevenson. So the arrests are starting. The ex-husband of former First Lady Jill Biden was arrested and charged on Tuesday, today, with murdering his wife, Linda. So I guess back on, December 28th, they found the spousal unit was unresponsive in her living room. So police responded to domestic dispute call And after extensive weeks-long investigation, and because we said out loud last night, they better start arresting people. Today, they're going to start arresting people. So he got arrested. And well, we'll see if he gets, goes to prison and maybe executed. I don't know what they have in Delaware. Probably nothing. I guess he's being held at Howard Young Correctional Institution after failing to pay a $500,000 bond. Now, will Jill come forward and help him out? Probably not. All right. So Jill married him back in February of 1970 when she was 19, right? And divorced him 5 years later. And shortly after that, she married, Mr. Biden. So Mr. Biden, his wife had just died, along with their little daughter, in a very suspect, accident. And was that a sacrifice? I think so. And so he got to move forward and become president, or at least some semblance of him became president of the United States. He was a major pedophile, right? And I think that's what they used to basically just take him off the stage, right? So that's I mean, look at all the pictures and video of him. He's like out in the open with it, fondling everybody, boys, girls, women. I don't know. I don't. Maybe he fondled men too. I don't know. Any men out there want to admit that? Probably not. But it's pretty. It's something that these people do. These Luciferians, right? They fondle each other. They, drink the blood of children, and that's why they stay young and all that kind of stuff. But here's some video of arrests that are happening, and we're going to go into. Don't think that I'm going to leave you hanging on this blood thing. Right? We got a lot of people that seem to be doing a lot of blood. Right, from children, and we've heard this over the years, and there's a lot of people seem like they seem quite young, and once they don't get that blood, they get old very quickly, and we're gonna show that, unless you're Cher, unless you're Jane Fonda, I guess you're still getting your fix, because they still look young. Oh yeah, Jane Fonda, 88, looks like she's like in her 30s, and same thing with Cher. Cher looks the same as she did back in the 1975 when she was singing Half Breed. All right. Half Breed. That's all I've heard. So, yeah. And then she was at the Grammys and she was, I don't know, she was like all effed up. I don't know if she got adrenochrome or what was going on, but she was like spacey, right? So let's look at some of the stuff before we look into that. And nephilm and giants and all that kind of stuff. We're going to go down the rabbit hole today. All right. Why not? Why not? We haven't been down the rabbit hole in a while. Come on. Let's go. Here we go. All right.
Austin City Councilor Tanya Fernandez Anderson has just been taken into custody.
Here's video from moments ago of the FBI outside a Dorchester home. We told you earlier this week the city councilor is under federal investigation, but neither she nor the city would tell us why. Officials cited the U.S. Attorney's Office, saying the integrity of a grand jury investigation would be impaired by disclosing information.
That FBI raid and arrest is just the tip of the iceberg. There's been nothing less than a wave of arrests across the country of Democrat politicians and, yes, judges who are finally being held accountable for their years of corruption. We're talking representatives indicted on federal charges, judges arrested for corruption, state officials facing felony counts. It's happening in real time. And if you've been waiting years to see the swamp finally start to drain, this is the moment you've been hoping for.
Yes, it is the moment we have been hoping for, and it is here. Right? So it is happening. And all it took was me, Scott McKay, and a few other people over the years, I guess, talking about how we need those rest. But we really hammered down on it last night. We were pretty passionate about it. I don't know. I think it might have had an impact. And So we're seeing this stuff basically break loose today, and it's going to continue. It's going to keep continuing. Carrie Cassidy, yes, she's a wild child, and she's all over the place. But she came out with some really good information, I think, and it brought forth some good discussion. I don't completely agree with her. I think we should hammer the hell out of these people. And she's like, she wants to be soft with them. I'm like, I've never seen that work, but you know, she's got her opinion, and I honor that and respect that. So don't beat her up because you don't agree with it. Just listen to the conversation, guys. Be observant, and that's what we're going to see going forward. People will see, you know, that Mike is right. Mike is right, and I don't care really if I'm right or not, but I'm just like I'm a relayer. I'm a relayer of like the way I roll that my tongue on that relayer of information. Information. So this is very important, I believe, going forward, that you know we reveal this information and we get together again, and you know, because humanity has basically been broken up, right? These nephilm, these baddies, they've been trying to break us up, and their offspring, which still do blood rituals and all that kind of stuff, are, you know, attempting to control us, and I don't think that's cool. What do you guys think? You like to be controlled by these nephilim and their nephilim offspring? I don't think so, right? I don't think so. So we're not going to allow that. No mas. No mas. All right. So let's share the screen and see what's going on in the crazy land of Cali. So Cali obviously is, you know, going to be one of those places that's going to be destroyed, I believe. Cali, you know, I'd say these cities, and we'll see. I hope I'm not right, but I'm pretty much think it's moving that direction. So we're going to see. We're going to see, right? And once we see, then we know. Yes, seeing is knowing, I guess. I don't know. So here we go.
From the governor's billion-dollar human suffering pipeline.
Welcome to California, the homeless capital of America. Nearly 200,000 homeless people reside in the Golden State.
It's way worse.
The homeless capital of America. Right.
Than Minnesota.
This was bought with taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Obvious fraud is going on.
Mayor Bass needs Skid Row for her to get federal money. But the reality is we could fix this if we want to.
I can't believe it. I can't believe that never occurred to me.
Welcome to California.
We just had a whistleblower from inside of the homeless industrial complex. So you believe homeless shelters are being used by illegal aliens?
Whoa, of course they are
So
in
they're
California.
rallying protesters to come and surround us.
Yep, that's why there's mobs.
This is what LA looks like everywhere. Not just this street, every underpass, every ditch, every overpass, every single intersection looks just like this.
And endless amounts of money are thrown at it, and the problems here experienced by the real people living in these tents don't go anywhere.
Section looks just like this. You have been lied to. Gavin Newsom, the governor of this state, says that homelessness is down, that he's fixed homelessness, and he's setting records to make the state better. This is a lie. Here's a police officer.
It is a lie.
Who is trying desperately to engage with these homeless.
So you see these RVs that are parked along the roads. I was just in Marina Del Rey, very exclusive area. Malibu, you know, all the beautiful places, and you have homeless everywhere, and drug addicts. You have mobile homes like this that are parked along the streets. It's insane. You have graffiti everywhere. You have people like, it depends on where you're at, but you can see people like pooping and peeing in public on the streets or just off the streets. It's you know, it's a thing that LA allows, I guess. So a lot of the corruption, a lot of the money laundering, a lot of the stealing of money that was supposed to be for these people is being revealed. A lot of the homeless shelters that were supposed to be for the homeless have gone to illegal aliens. Wow. So we know who they really care about, right? And who they want to take over. The homeless and the, mentally deranged and so forth, unfortunate problems that they all have, they're captured. They have to, vote in the Democrats because the Democrats are the only one handing out money. The Republicans, they come in with an idea of how they can fix this and they get shut down. California's been run completely by Democrats. Republicans have hardly any say. Kevin Kiley has done a really good job there. But, I've supported several people in, trying to see government office that were very, very well received by the public. But the Democrat, political corruption machine basically just shuts everybody down. So I guess they're doing a vote very soon about you have to have an ID. As Congress is passing that, you have to have an ID to vote. I saw a report where 76% of blacks are in favor of that. 83% of Hispanics and 85% of whites, somewhere along those numbers, 87, 85, something like that. So everybody, pretty much regardless of race, is for ID voting. So on a very, very significant basis. So if Congress does not pass that, another reason why Congress needs to go bye-bye, right? So, and Trump has to do an executive order to basically implement that. So if they don't pass it, then Trump is going to do it, right? It's going to move in that direction. Now, with these RVs and so forth, California passed a law that if someone's got an RV parked alongside the road, it cannot be towed away because that's their abode, and we have to allow for people to dignity and have a place to live and so forth. But look at that. I mean, these things are like just complete shitholes, abominations. They're probably full of, feces and urine and so forth, and needles, and it's crazy. It's very sad. These people could be helped if they took the money and they devoted it in a positive way, but it has to be money laundered. And for them to continue to money launder, skim off the top of the money that's supposed to be meant for these homeless, the billions upon billions, tens of billions of dollars for the homeless, some of it's just gone completely missing. So we're looking at Minneapolis and we're seeing like 9, 10, 12 billion, whatever it is, in fraud. President Trump has come out and said, whoa, it's a lot more than that. It's like 30 to 40 billion. And I still say we're probably skimming the surface of that. You come over to Cali, you're looking at over $1 trillion, guys. $1 trillion that's been skimmed off in fraud over the years. So it is all going to be revealed. And that's pretty much, like I've been saying, is going to wipe out the Democrat Party. And then anybody else, Rhino type, that's associated with it. Eventually, we're just going to do away with the party system and just have some kind of system where people can come, anybody, you, me, anybody. You got great ideas, come forward, you speak them, and you have a good solid background, and you do what you say you're going to do. You have good morals, you have good etiquette, and I don't know, everything. So etiquette, who cares about etiquette, right? You eat with a fork on the right or left? What, I don't care, who knows? But if you do have some semblance of you can handle yourself in public well, speak well, get across your ideas that can help humanity, you should be moved up. You should be moved up to like a mayor position. Mamdani was selected. He's Jeffrey Epstein's son. There's nothing good about that. So he's a communist. So he wants to destroy America. And all these Democrats want to destroy America. They're all Luciferians, in my opinion. There may be one or two Democrats that aren't. But for the most part, the Democrat Party has completely sold its soul.
That's terrible.
In their filthy hovels that seem like they've been here for years.
This is terrible.
This is a choice
It's sad.
by the leadership of California to allow this to happen in your neighborhoods. The
Yeah.
politicians are handcuffing the police officers, not allowing them to enforce the law.
So you see these shitholes, alongside the road, and then right across from that are, nice homes. Like imagine your home wherever you're at, and right across the street is like a homeless little RV, and they come out and they piss alongside the road and they wander around, they look through your trash, and that's, or maybe they beg, and who knows, or like look in your windows, see what you got going on in there. That's what the people of California are putting up with.
Here, look, people live here. Why would they allow this? Why are those officers helpless?
Because there's big money behind it. They got a new $40 million initiative in California right now being touted by the governor. But do you think that money's going to make it to the homeless?
Yeah. Your children live here.
Yeah, it's not part for the street.
Oh, of course not. It's not safe. Look at that barbed wire. You're living in a war zone. This is all about trafficking in human misery.
That's it.
So yeah, concertina wire at the top of a lot of people's homes. I've seen this throughout California. It doesn't matter where you're at. Super high walls. I think some of these walls, like I saw in some of these neighborhoods, are very, very high end. They're too high. They're out of code. I mean, they're like crazy high walls, and they have to be that way to keep the crazies out. It's great. It's insane. And then you see the graffiti on the walls and so forth. It's an atrocity. And of course, as long as the Democrats are in power, we're going to see this continue. I don't think there's any way that's going to stop, because the Democrats are basically going to skim. Democrats are in power, they're going to skim, right? Period. So you're going to continue to see this until they're gone. There's no way to get around it. All right, so we're saying here, Sharon, the police get raises. Police get raises, not that it's not deserved, but they too are pawns, yes, in the bigger aspects of the Ponzi business model. So, yeah, so the police are getting raises, like, okay, we know you got to deal with this stupid, and you know that if you arrest people, it would make it right, like some of these Democrats. So we're going to pay you extra. We're going to give you a lot of money, and just look the other way. And you sheriffs that are corrupted, because we know we've talked about some of them on my show. Sheriffs that are corrupted, you're going to like get deputies and so forth that are corrupt like you, that do evil shit, and you're going to solve about 5% of your crimes, whereas in the rest of America they're like 70, 80, 90% solving crimes. But here in LA and Riverside and so forth, 5 to 10%, right? So and you got police officers making $150,000, $250,000 with overtime, what crazy shit, right? I was getting that when I was overseas in combat zones, but yeah, they're pretty much in combat zones too. So why don't they get the same amount? So it's out of control. It's out of control what's going on in these neighborhoods, in these police forces, and these political realms. So Tulsi Gabbard arranged Trump call with FBI agents after Georgia election raid. So we're getting down to the wire, guys. Election fraud is just about to be revealed. We know that Georgia, we said it early on. And this is one of the things that I brought up last night. I was there on January 6th. I was like, I saw the anomalies. I saw the bullshit that was going on. And I was thinking to myself, tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to we're going to hammer down on this. We're not going to allow this. And Trump told us to go home. So he basically was like, okay, we're going to let this run. We're going to give up. We're going to let this run. So what is that all about? Why did he do that? Is this part of a bigger picture? Well, things, sometimes I doubt Trump, and then I find out that he was right. So for the most part, almost always. But I still have questions about not pushing back. I think we should be pushing back right now if we don't start to see a lot more of this. So the 2020 election still, let's reveal it. We have Tina Peters in Colorado prison. Get her out now. All right. So this is all bullshit, right? Don't tell me that it's like we're waiting for the right moment. That moment has come and it's gone about 100 times now. So let's go. Let's start doing this bullshit now, right? Tulsi Gabbard arranged Trump call. All right. So great. So what was
intelligence? Tulsi Gabbard straight into the Georgia election fraud raid. And now Democrats are screaming for her impeachment. They're coming up with fake whistleblowers and anonymous hits against her.
So this is the way of the Democrat Party. They're always getting in the way of progress. Take this friggin' party apart and take it down. Every time they do something like this, whoever does it, drive up the bus, load them in the bus, take them down to prison, and throw them in the jail and prosecute them. Right? Enough of this bullshit. Right? This is it. Right? So they keep coming after the people that are trying to clean up our country, like Tulsi Gabbard, right? Like President Trump, like you name it. These people have been coming after all of us for a long time. For me, for Scott McKay, all of us. We're sick and tired of it. Let's stop pussyfooting around and let's start to hammer down everywhere. Right? It's time.
Why? Because she's dead over the target of election fraud. And wouldn't you know it, the second Gabbard shows up at the FBI Fulton County ballot grab, a shady classified whistleblower complaint drops on her. Trump ordered her there for election integrity and foreign meddling, yet the left paints her as a villain, classic swamp desperation. Now, Florida Representative Randy Fines is not backing off of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. He's vowing to expose her fake businesses, hiding citizens' cash, her brother's marriage fraud to America so that he could become a citizen. They are freaking out over all the truth about to come out against them. President Trump told Dan Bongino, massive 2020 election fraud incoming. Georgia hid Biden's win where it really was, which was buried in fake ballots, printed ballots, unfolded ballots. The left is attacking Gabbard in order to demonize Trump while sanctuary cities drain Americans of billions of dollars.
So there you go. So sanctuary cities where they're sending in the troops pretty much to take them down. ICE, most of them former military. So, as they send in the troops to these Democrat hellholes, they're going to push back and they're just like ICE, go away, ICE, baby. So you can't have these Democrats continue to get money. We have to take away their money sources so they can't pay off these people that are making, anywhere from $70,000 to $120,000 to be protesters, and sent all around the country to protest. Load them up in the buses, take them down to the local jail cells, and question them and find out, who their income source is, and they're going to arrest the income source. But those people that are being paid to come in and demonstrate and riot, they need to stay in those cells for a long time, right? This is really getting out of control, and it's time for it to stop. We need to push back. We need to stand up, and we need to start talking about how we want this to stop, and we want our elected officials, whoever they are, wherever they are, to start getting involved, or we're going to impeach them and put in some people that will start to do the justice. And this is one of the things that Carrie talked about last night. She's like, I want to go and I want to go question them, and if they can't come up with why they aren't right now, doing their job, then they get replaced. They get replaced, and somebody's going to do it. And if they don't come in and do within, the same within a day. I can come into any one of these places and I can go, why aren't you arresting this person? And you don't have a good excuse. Get out, right? And maybe let's look at your background and see if you're being paid off to be a jackass, right? And if you are, then you're going to jail. So, and we're going to just keep doing that all over the country. Every Democrat hellhole that's out there, and we figure it out in one spot, and then we just take that same, crush them and go somewhere else and crush them again and keep crushing them, right? Everywhere they do this. It's the only way we're gonna win here, guys. We got to stop pussyfooting around. We've got to stop this. This is bullshit, and we've got to stop allowing it. Right? Hold these effers accountable. Shocking email from Epstein files implicates former U.S. Ambassador Clinton's, Biden's, the first commanding officer of SEAL Team 6, and more. What? All right. Marcinko, tell me it isn't so. All right. So I've met Marcinko in the past. He signed, I bought some of his books. He signed those books. I was at SEAL Team 6 when I met him. He started SEAL Team 6. I know the Rogue Warrior, the Rogue Warrior books. I thought they were great. They revealed a lot of stuff, right? And I don't think the CIA liked that too much. I think the CIA was basically trying to take him down, was trying to control him, and he wasn't controllable. So they destroyed his life, right? So they're still trying to destroy him, all right? I don't know. So the emails appear to involve Ken Turner, who goes by Ken T in the emails, and possibly NYPD Detective Walter E. Harkins, based on his signature. So a lot of people are looking like they're implicated. So in July 19, 2019, Turner sent an email to NYOGA and disclosed the individuals he was working with in Mexico. He described one, Jorge Gonzalez, as my friend in the Mexican federal government. All right, so he mentioned an ex-South African police officer and psychologist named Marna, and introduced her to his partner. So it goes on and talks about how this one, what was he? An ambassador down in Mexico. He impregnated an 11-year-old. Yes, he impregnated an 11-year-old. Now, Marcinko, as they talk about in these, it says, Jorge is prepared to talk to you, R.E. Marcinko, and Epstein in all the videos and photos he has. So was Marcinko down there with a group to basically reveal and take down some of these a-holes down there? I don't know, but it sounds like they're trying to make him look like the bad guy. So we're only getting a little piece of this now, but like I said, they love to attack Marcinko and destroy him, right? I believe he was a good guy. There's a lot of people that say otherwise, right? But like I said, I've met him. I know people that know him. They think highly of him. A lot of the guys I work with, but there are some people that have been trying to destroy him over the years. And I kind of question, what their background is. Are they part of some kind of CIA disinformation program as well? All right, so it goes on to talk about sex parties and so forth. It says that particular email also claims that an American shot a judge who was presiding over Turner's child sex trafficking case, and that Jorge and Turner both have been attacked by armed individuals 4 times. My partner has shot and killed 2 and wounded 5 American agents to date. Now, was Marcinko part of these agents, or was he part of cleaning some of these agents? This still remains to be seen. This is very, very complicated stuff. We're only getting a little taste of, the craziness that's in these Jeffrey Epstein emails, but more and more, I promise you, is going to come out as more and more of this stuff gets revealed. So don't pass judgment yet. You have to look at all of the evidence and determine whether someone is playing games, which the CIA does do quite often, or if there's something else involved here, right? So I'm not saying absolutely that Marcinko's innocent. Maybe he's involved maybe got involved towards the end of his lifetime, because this would have been towards the end of his years. Now, was he part of an organization that basically was maybe he dies, but he doesn't die, kind of like Jeffrey Epstein? Who knows? I don't know, guys. But I know there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. So I'm not saying that Marcinko's innocent or guilty, right? But lots of people are being implicated. Lots of people have been implicated now. Now, Jane Fonda, who knows, maybe she'll be implicated at some point too. Look at Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda is 88 years old.
You think about this back in the day?
I think the fact that I was born in 1937 and spent the first 10 years of my life in California was important. There were only 2 billion people on Earth then. Is this working?
Yeah.
2 billion people. And guess what? 2 billion people is the carrying capacity of Earth when it comes to us guys.
Whoa. 2 billion people is the carrying capacity of Earth. What are you saying? Do you want to eliminate the other 5 to 6 billion that are out there? Probably. All right. She's probably a nephilm offspring, in my opinion. Probably doing lots of blood and so forth. So anyway, whatever the case, I'm just throwing my opinion out there. I don't know anything. I just see this stuff and I kind of like, other people say the same thing. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe, she's 88 and just, she eats clean and exercises. She used to have the exercise videos, and they were very popular. And I'm like, well, maybe she wasn't very, a lot of the Vietnam veterans aren't very fond of her. Right? I heard the stories over my career as a SEAL. All the Vietnam veterans, they didn't like her at all. Right? So they still don't like her. Right. So, and she's like, I did something stupid. I got on a gun mount that was used to, shoot down American jets and so forth. And I had a helmet on. And so I'll speak to them and I'll assuage their, negative thoughts of me. No. All right. There are a lot of bad things about that woman. All right. And Ted Turner and her did some crazy stuff together. So anyway, I'm not really passing judgment. I think there's some things that, we need to look at and go something, right? Something about that. Like this one. Let's look at Cher. Might remember the Sonny and Cher show. Those of you like myself have been around a little while. Now Sonny was skiing here in Lake Tahoe in between the trees and got killed it. All right. Now everybody that's up here in Lake Tahoe that's been here for a while, they know that Sonny was killed. All right. So he was getting close to the child sex trafficking stuff, and he was in Congress at the time. He was about to really reveal. And then he had an accident among the trees in Lake Tahoe. He was a good skier. Had skied among the trees. I guess he was like, I don't know if he was with a friend or his son or something, but he was behind them skiing through the trees. And then all of a sudden he didn't show up. And so they went back up and to look for him. And I don't know, there was like lots of different, skis that were around the area where he was, and his neck was broken. It's like he slammed him in a tree and broke his neck and he died instantly. So yeah, whatever. Okay. So here's Cher. Cher is like 79. And she has a boyfriend who's like, 40, 50 years younger? 40-year age gap. So that's her boyfriend there. Cher has been with lots of people. Right? So, which is, you've been around a while, you're with a lot of people. I guess, she broke up with Sonny. Sonny went on to disclose in Congress about child sex trafficking, and we know that children have their blood taken from them, and these elites have talked about this for a while. How they do blood. There's videos out there where they have baths in blood and all kind of crazy stuff. And they laugh about how they have, the blood or something from a Korean boy. I've heard this on some of the talk shows. So here we are. Look at Cher. Does she look like she's 79? Right. She's 79, but keeps up with someone 40 years younger than her. So that's something that's been going on for a long time. So I'm not knocking it. You're gonna continue to see that throughout time. I think as a lot of us start to live older and look younger, but a lot of these people have some very suspect things they're doing for their health, right? And we're going to go a little bit deeper into that. But here we go with the Clintons. The Clintons are basically, yeah, well, you're going to arrest us? Well, we'll come and talk. Well, why don't you say that?
To potentially hold them in contempt, former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have agreed to give depositions as part of a House committee's investigation into sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. For months, the Clintons held their ground against Republican Chairman James Comer's subpoenas, dismissing his demands for in-person depositions as legally toothless and invalid, and slamming the investigation as a political hit job.
This appeared to be a high-stakes game of chicken where both sides were standing off to see who would flinch first. The answer seems to be the Clintons.
But after some Democrats said they would join Republicans in recommending contempt charges, the Clintons have now agreed to testify.
If the committee had gone forward and filed formal charges and the DOJ had prosecuted, the Clintons were looking at up to a year in prison and a $100,000 fine.
Oh, wait, you mean you want us to testify? Oh, why didn't you say that? Oh, of course we'll testify. Oh yeah, so the arrests are coming, and who knows? After they testify and they get some information, of course they're going to lie everywhere, and they're going to be I don't know, maybe held in contempt for lying. So they need to be perp walked, or whoever's playing them needs to be perp walked. All right, the Nephilim, like the Clintons. Offspring of the Nephilim are mysterious beings mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, often interpreted as giants. Of course, the Clintons aren't giants, but the Nephilim came down. They like the little humanoids, and they mated with them. They talk about that in the Bible. All right, so they're powerful figures believed to be the offspring of fallen angels and human women. Their exact origins and nature remain debated among scholars and religious traditions. All right, disinformation, of course, is all out there. Fallen angels theory. Some traditions view the Nephilim that fell with Satan, Lucifer, the angel of light, and they believe in him. Of course, the Luciferians believe that Lucifer is better than God. So, so they're on that path, and we'll see who wins that one. Some traditions view Nephilim as the offspring of fallen angels, the Watchers, and human women, leading to their portrayal as giants or powerful beings. Giants. So, we've heard about these giants, David and Goliath. Of course, Goliath had a lot of brothers, and we haven't seen a lot of stuff about, the brothers, although we've seen over time giants being found, giants being talked about, but the Nephilim, we know they have to have blood, right? We know that the Nephilim offspring have to have blood to stay young and so forth. And so they do different things to continue being young. So here's one. Here's one we're gonna look at. Now look at this picture. This is Peter Nygaard. Now this is him as he's using children's blood, and this is him after a year of not having access to that children's blood. Wow, what a difference a year will make. So, oh my God, have you seen Jane Fonda, who's almost 90, 88? This is definitely achievable with plastic surgery. So they just talk about how, you know, yeah, plastic surgery, lasers, Botox, fillers, fat transfers, exomes, and children's blood. Oh, they didn't say that in that, but children's blood. Let's see what they say. All right, where's the soundy thingy? I don't see the soundy thingy. All right, come on. Sound button, where are you? All right, I'm gonna give up on that one. But anyway, she goes on to talk about how the nephilm are the nephilm offspring, like Peter Nygaard. He basically came in and was having sexual relations with a lot of the women that he, you know, made famous in Instagram and so forth, models and so forth. He would have sexual relations with them, and then he would convince them to have an abortion. And from those aborted fetuses, he would draw blood, and he would take that blood, right? And that blood would keep him young, which it was doing, evidently. So this is something that these Nephilim fallen angel types and their offspring are continuing that practice, right? So it is something. Of course, they're going to, like, you know, talk around it and say, oh, has nothing to do with you know, the blood of children, although we know otherwise, right? So let's look at some of this. Now, if they were smart, they would get into LifeWave, because we basically do stem cells the natural way. We activate our own stem cells, but, you know, they like to do it through the blood. They like to take an easy route. Cher fumbles Grammy presentation, mistakenly saying Luther Vandross when she was doing a presentation here. Let's see if this one's going to give us some sound. Oh, well, that was actually, you meant to say, I guess, Kendrick Lamar. So Kendrick Lamar come up and he says, yeah, I modeled my music after Luther Vandross, who died several years ago. But Cher, in whatever state she's in right now, look at that. 79 and looking, you know, back in the day when it was a Sonny and Cher show. So let's look at that. All right. What did she look like way back then? All right, here we go. Now, I'm not going to do the sound on this, because maybe if I do the sound on this one, maybe it's good I'm not doing the sound, because you do the sound, then YouTube, you know, restricts your stuff. So we'll look at, we'll just kind of look at this. I'll sing along for you. All right. Half breed. That's all I've heard. You know, we've heard stories of, like, Clinton, Hillary, and, you know, with the Anthony Weiner laptop from hell that had pictures of her doing frazzle drip, right? And I guess then the police officers that saw this were, you know, puking afterwards. So, you know, maybe that was just a made up story. It could have been, right? And and those police officers that saw that died, that's just a coincidence. So anyway, if we look at Greenland, so what are these nephilm? Are they nephilm that have come here from are they angels that flew down from heaven with their wings? Just kind of okay, God's okay, get out. Lucifer, get out of here. And take all those angels that think like you guys are out, right? And so they just flew down, and flew down to Earth. No, there's places where we've seen aircraft that have crashed, right? There's people that talk about this where they crash landed. So crash landed, that sounds like aliens. That sounds like aliens to me. So the stories get a little mixed up. But if you do the study, you start to see that, it seems like the fallen angels, they were like ETs. Yeah, ETs. All right. UFO buzz, Greenland deletion sparks online debate. So they're talking about heightened UAP activity in Greenland. How about that? Historic ties, military presence in Greenland, mysterious resource interest in military theories. So there was a report that there were alien craft that had crash landed into Greenland, and they were covered with ice, and they're starting to be revealed. And some of these craft and that are being revealed, I guess they're finding out that these craft are not like our craft where you got to have somebody flies them around. It's there's mental connection. Now, I've been talking about this for years because I have memories of this. I have memories of currently being in as another, part of myself into the secret space program. And we fly aircraft with our consciousness. We connect with the craft, which has consciousness, and our consciousness connects with that craft. Now, we're already starting to see some of this in AI now. You ever think about something and then it shows up on your phone? It's everybody, right? So this is not something new, and it's being revealed. And some of these craft that are out there have this technology. Now, you think that some of the people from Somalia are going to be stepping up and flying some of these craft? I don't think so. Right? So you have to be. You don't necessarily have to have a lot of book smarts, but you have to have some kind of spiritual advancement, intuition, so forth. And that doesn't come when you're ripping people off and stealing and doing blood sacrifice and adrenochrome and all that kind of stuff. That's not going to happen for you, right? So some of these people don't advance because they're part of the fallen angel group, right? And the fallen angel group, whether it's from UFO, which I believe it is, from other star systems, it remains to be seen. But I think that as time goes on, all of this stuff is being revealed, right? So as more things are being revealed, we're becoming more enlightened. And enlightenment doesn't necessarily have to be where you're getting more spiritual. Enlightenment can come from being aware of these different aspects that are out there that you can tap into and start to enjoy higher consciousness and all kind of great stuff like that. Like Mike, be like Mike, right? So, all right. So here's another one that we're going to go down this just a little rabbit hole-ish right here, the archaeologist. So this is close to where I'm at. Let me cut this light off. It's blinding me now. Lovely. Can you turn that now? Thank you. So I got to have some light here, evidently. So there we go. All right. Thank you. Perfect. All right. So was North America once inhabited by a race of giants? Yes, and yes, still is, right? According to an old legend, supported by several challenging archaeological finds, it is possible because we found their skeletal remains. Of course, they're constantly being hidden. If we could go down into the lower realms, tunnel systems underneath the, Washington, D.C., we would probably find a lot of this stuff. All right. So those museums that are there, they've been hiding this stuff for a long time, probably in the Vatican, all the stuff that, they do these movies where, they show all this stuff and it's like, oh, that's just fiction. No, it's not. All right. So there's lots of these skeletal remains that have been gathered for hundreds, even thousands of years, guys. All right. And hidden away. These giants are described as both brave and barbaric, and legends often mention their cruelty towards whomever they pleased. So there's an Indian tribe in Nevada region thousands of years ago say they have an outstanding legend about a race of red-haired, remember that, red-haired giants called the Situka. In the northern Paiute language, Situka literally means tool eaters. Does that mean flesh eaters? People that like human flesh and child blood? I think so. Legend has it that the giants came from a distant island. Island, like Easter Island, right? Easter Island. Yeah, because that's where supposedly the people that had those spacecraft that were in Greenland, they ended up in Easter Island. That's a story. I don't know if that's true. I haven't asked them. They're not around anymore. So anyway, as odd as it may sound, this legend repeats itself all over the Americas, suggesting it might be an incomplete chronicle of a real event that happened long ago. All right. So in 16th century, Spanish conquistador Pedro Ciez de Leon recorded an ancient Peruvian tale about the origin of the South American giants. According to legend, they came by sea in rafts of reeds after the manner of large boats. Some of the men were so tall that from the knee down, they were as big as the length of an ordinary fair-sized man. And men of the time could walk, underneath their crotch, beneath their, if they spread their legs, the men could walk under there. So that's the story anyway. Legend tells us that the Situka waged war on the Paiute and all other neighboring tribes, spreading terror and devastation. Finally, after years of conflict, the tribes united against the common enemy and began to decimate them. Now, this has happened in South Carolina, on an island in South Carolina, where the elite have homes. So, I've been to this place and in Georgia and all these places. So there are definitely a lot of stories about these giants, red-haired giants that like children, like to eat children. The last remaining red-haired giants were chased off and sought shelter inside a cave. The tribe started a fire at the cave entrance, suffocating and burning alive the Situka, and those driven out by the smoke were also killed. All right, in 1886, mining engineer goes on. They basically got bat poop, and Ghana used to use that for fertilizer. So they made tons of fertilizer from that, shipped it out to San Francisco, 250 tons is what they say. And this led to an official excavation being performed in 1912 by the University of California. So they found skeletal remains of 8 to 10 feet in height, and they were mummified. Mummies have been referred to as the Lovelock Giants. So this is not too far from where I'm actually living, all right? So I may go pay this place a visit because you can actually tour this. Now look at this right here. This is a guy, an average man with a big old knife, and he's measuring this handprint. This is a handprint. It looks like it's much bigger than somebody that's 10 to 12 feet tall. So anyway, there's a lot of these stories out there, and you can actually go, like I said, and visit this Lovelock cavern. Let's see, do I have a little? Yes, I do. I have a little thing here that I'm going to share where it shows that. So the Lovelock cave, they have places where you can actually tour it. Go check it out, because I think you gotta go see this stuff. Got to go see this stuff and verify that this stuff is real in your mind. All right. And I could do that for you too. So here we are. We have, this underground cave where you can go visit and tour it and see. I don't know if they have the giant still there. I'd probably taken them out, but the giant bones. But there, I guess they had lots of remains of humans, and the Indians didn't like being eaten and having their kids probably eaten, so they killed them, right? And that's what we've seen throughout time. We've also seen it more recently. So before I go into that, let's look at the Easter Island Maori, as they call them. These giants that were there. It's very interesting. Some of them have like these caps that are red, kind of like red hair, right? So here they are. They dug deeper, and then they found, more stuff.
And deeper, and found out that the heads that are above the surface are just a tiny part of it.
The dark bit is the bit that was above ground, and then it goes down 30 feet underground. This had to be excavated in order to reveal it. And the issue is, on this tiny island, if this thing is only 700 years old, which is something that archaeologists often say, 700 or 1,000 years old, how do you get 30 feet of sedimentation in just 700 years? This deep burial of these statues by natural sedimentation is a problem. It's a chronological problem that speaks to these statues being much older than we imagine they are.
All right. So, this is reaching the mainstream, and more and more people are talking about this, and like Mike, and so you're seeing more and more of this get revealed. So just a average dude like me, talking about it. Maybe some of you guys are like, Mike's just an average dude, and he picked up on this. So there must be something to this, and or maybe Mike's just out there and you don't care. But we have a lot of other people that tap into higher consciousness, and so we have the baddies. Like, I'm not going to say that Cher and Jane Fonda are baddies, but maybe so maybe they're compromised. I don't know. Maybe they were forced to do whatever they did to stay young. I don't know, but. Kind of like the people that got vaccinated. I was forced to get vaccinated. Okay, right. So we have people that actually take technologies and go in a positive direction with them. All right. Now we know that Tesla tried to do that, and he had his technology stolen, and we didn't get to benefit from them, but somebody did. I think the German Nazis did, and maybe the Bush family. Because it was Curious George, who is George H.W. Bush or George Scherf, who was basically his father, and they were from Germany. And George H.W. Bush actually served in the German Navy as a young lad. And so then he comes to America and he becomes president of the United States. I thought you had to be like born in the United States. Well, we can overlook these things, especially when you work for the CIA, which he did, right? So let's look at some people that have actually taken this information and have gone in a positive direction with it. Now, I've talked about LifeWave quite often, and we seem to have someone that has tapped into David Schmidt, who has tapped into some very positive things that can be done with technology.
To regenerate the frontal lobes, if we needed to regenerate the eyes, the liver, the kidneys.
Wow, that sounds like some of those people that are using child blood, right? And maybe child sacrifice and eating children and so forth, and staying young. But we have technologies that I utilize, and I'm I'm one of the good guys, and David Schmidt's one of the good guys, and we're basically regenerating, like they're using stem cells from blood, children's blood and placenta and so forth, to stay young. Now we can actually activate through technology our own stem cells. And we don't have to get injections, and you don't have to rub anything on our bodies, and that's from children or whatever. We just have these patches that we wear, and they have like a crystalline structure within them. And as our light, be the light, right? So as our infrared light comes out and activates these patches, is reflected back, and the technology basically activates our stem cells. Right. So this is a positive thing that can be done with technology, and we don't have to go down the nephilm road.
You could take a supplement that's charged with light, and that light gets released into that part of the body where you need it, triggering regeneration. So this will set off years and years of new products in our product line in LifeWave. So that's one of the directions we're going. So I suppose, if we're not aging and we're living longer, then we have to probably have some things to do to keep our interest. So we started this drone project. We unveiled it 3 years ago. We're into it over 4 years now. And this month we open our drone manufacturing facility in Denmark.
In Denmark, remember that. Denmark. Wasn't Denmark, like linked to Greenland? Yes. And so that's very interesting. Remember all those drones that were flying around New Jersey, and they were also flying around Denmark. How about that?
The largest drone testing center in all of Europe. We have a 6,000-foot runway, and we have 18,000 square kilometers of airspace that we can fly our 15-foot aircraft. And we'll be using this for search and rescue missions, among other things. And it's going to...
Yes, for search and rescue missions, not for bombing and attacking people, but for, good things. And so this technology can be utilized in a positive way. Now, I have actually seen some of these drones. I've been to David Schmidt's where he does this technology, and I get to see some of this. I was very fortunate. The technology is unbelievably advanced, right? And I think the technology that's going to come from the drone technology is going to spill over into other aspects like you're going to talk about right now.
Open up some really incredible opportunities for LifeWave. And then in the not too distant future, let's say within about 5 years, depending on regulatory, we'll be going to market with our power generation system. And
so the generation system that is powering these drones is exceptionally advanced. It is, Tesla level technology. And yes, I've seen some of that in my days in the military, at SEAL Team 6 and in the CIA and so forth. But you're not going to see that for any length of time, for a very long time, unless you see it, flying above New Jersey. And I even said that some of those drones are coming from the water. I said that, yes. And then they, the next day, kind of like Mike discloses, and then they have to come out. They have to come out and talk about it. Or they have to do something about, what Mike is saying. I don't know. It just seems to be, I push that button, I push that, that energy out there, and then they have to respond. So they came out and they talked about how some of those drones were coming from the water, right? And there's bases under the water, very high-tech bases. So all these technologies can be utilized for positive things. And I think in the future, that's where things are going to start to go. Now, here's an interview from 11 months ago, back around the time frame where the drones were coming out. And I think you'll find this interview insightful. This is from a Danish guy. All right. So there seems to be some kind of connection going on there. But regardless, we're going to listen to these gentlemen have a discussion and get a little bit more information.
About UAP and UFOs, especially maybe in relation to Greenland, which is part of the Danish kingdom, and Greenland has been in the media a lot in Denmark at the moment because Donald Trump's son went to Greenland, and Donald Trump he wanted to purchase Greenland, which Danes and Greenlanders have thought, okay.
All right, so little comedy there, but they talked earlier about how these drones seem to be drawn to radiation. So radiation in Greenland, radiation in bases in the UK, where the United States, as we found out, had moved potentially some nuclear weaponry. And then the drone showed up on this one Pacific base where we find out later that maybe United States had moved some missile systems or something that's nuclear in response to maybe Russia getting a little aggressive. And so we're like, okay, not so much. We got our stuff, and you can't just go bomb Europe because they're trying to kill you. We'll handle that. All right. So also in New Jersey, evidently there's some things that were going on there, the radiological. So that's why we saw the drone technology, and why throughout time, going back decades and decades and decades, when we've seen these unidentified objects that are out there, drones or whatever they are, they're often close to nuclear, radiological, and so forth, areas. So they go into a discussion of UFO connections to nuclear sites and facilities. Let's listen to this.
Where did your interest in that start, and what have you found?
I think that my interest was really, really heightened when Robert Hastings was here in 2013. I mean, he gave the presentation here in Copenhagen, and I talked a little bit about it on Danish TV and mentioned the Malmström incident. But I kind of dove into the subject after he left us, and I think that it's really, really interesting. And when you dive into it, it's so much. There's just so much smoke that there has to be a fire somewhere. Absolutely. I mean, these incidents have been taking place not just around these ICBM sites in the United States during the 60s and the 70s, but also all the way back to 1945 at the Hanford plutonium enrichment plant in Washington State and Los Alamos when they were developing it, and into the Sandia National Labs where they were assembling it. Robert Hastings, by the way, was born in Sandia, which is really, really interesting. And Oak Ridge National Labs, where there's so many things that kind of fit together. This Oak Ridge, which is also where Jim Burchett and the Ockles and the.
Okay. So was this development of nuclear on the humans developing it? Were they good humans? And you had the ETs are basically checking up on the development to where they're going with this. So are the ETs or some of the ETs monitoring and making sure it doesn't get out of hand, doesn't get out of well, we can't say that they were controlling it from getting out of hand, because we saw all the way back to, I believe, Napoleon when he went into Russia. I believe Napoleon's army, when he went in with 600,000 highly trained soldiers, where all of Europe, no one in Europe could defeat Russia or France under Napoleon. He defeated all the armies of Europe. So then he goes to Russia. He's like, well, let me go to Russia and see, was he inspired in some way by some group to go into Russia and take down, the Tartarian Empire that was on maps and everything, that seemed to have like this great technology that was like, free energy and all of these things. It seems like when he went there, he got nuked. His army got nuked. They talk about, these bright blast, fire, consuming fire, just like they talked about in the Bhagavad Gita, these wars that happened back during that time frame in India, where they're, nuclear blast. There's obviously they were nuclear blast. And we had obviously some nuclear blasts in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So somebody's not controlling this. Somebody is making sure it gets used, right? Or is there another group that's trying to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand? So is there one group that's trying to develop it with the aid of humans, or is there some group of the humans that are like, we got this technology too, don't mess with us, or who knows where this is going, right? I think the bottom line is it's not going to be utilized. Their positive ETs are going to basically make sure it doesn't get utilized. We've been hearing that for many years, and it seems to be the case, right? So that's what they're revealing there. Now, do these were these nephilm that descended to Earth part of the negative ET group? I believe so, right? So the negative ET group is slowly but methodically being, taken down. Now they've struck back many times against positive groups like the Tartarians in the Russian Empire at the time, and they used Napoleon's army basically to entrap the Tartarian Empire so that they couldn't get away, and then they just nuked everybody. So Napoleon's army basically died from radiological poisoning over time, over the next couple of months, because they stayed in Russia. And so they were, you can go back to the ancient buildings during that time frame, before Napoleon's time frame, and you can see the effects of nuclear blast on some of those buildings. They've actually documented that. So this is not speculation, this is reality. So these advanced beings that have been, controlling us on Earth for quite some time are, I think, starting to be taken down. Now, some of these beings, the giants, not all of them are negative, but, quite a few of them are. Now let's go into what the ancient aliens they talked about in that show, and see what they say about the people of Easter Island, all right? The people, the giants of Easter Island. So they talk about on ancient aliens. So you come at this from a different perspective, guys. You can say, like, the people that are there, their stories of where they basically rose up and killed the giants because they were basically enslaved them on Easter Island. Or you can go, well, the ancient people there of Easter Island, the inhabitants, they were inspired to create these giants, these giant carvings. There is one that was starting to be carved out, and it was stopped. It was, I think, the most massive, if I remember correctly, the most massive of these, and it was stopped. I think it's almost like the natives are like, okay, there's enough of us, let's take these giants down, right? So that seems, I believe, is what happened. Now they continue the story where, look, the people, the inhabitants of this island, they could move these great giants stone structures around by ropes and rocking them back and forth and move them forward. I saw a video of that. I don't know if I might have it here, but they're going to continue to make excuses for not having these giants and so forth. But look at all the technology on Easter Island and in Peru, right? I've been to Cusco and places like that, and I've seen these massive structures, the stones that were carved and put together. It seems like these beings, inhabited the earth and on a fairly significant level at some point.
Easter Island, isolated in the Pacific Ocean, more than 2,000 miles west of Chile. This tiny landmass is home to nearly 900 monolithic stone statues.
On Easter Island, we have these huge heads and torsos that are carved out of the volcanic rock. They are called the moai. Some of them that have been erected are 30 feet or so tall, weighing up to 75 tons.
You don't realize that they're really buried right up to their chest, and that these statues are 2 or 3 times as large as we can see, because most of them is below ground. Many of the statues are oftentimes sort of sideways, looking up.
They look inward toward the center of the island. They also seem to look up toward the skies. So I think there's a deeper significance, and it has to do with the heavens. It has to do with things that were happening in the sky that were very important to the people, and that they are recording in these moai and pointing to look upward. There's something going on there.
According to archaeologists, the native Polynesian inhabitants of Easter Island, known as the Rapa Nui people, constructed the moai between the 12th and 18th centuries AD.
All right, so they bullshit us, and they have been doing this for a long time. These statues are obviously quite older. This is a race of beings. For whatever reason, they're like, looking back to the heavens, and they're inspired to maybe they'll come back and rescue us from this island. Who knows? I've heard that maybe they're from the island of Mu, and the island of Mu, Lemuria, basically sank. This is one of the mountaintops, and there are the remnants of that. So there's all these different stories about this. But you look at all of these videos, and you start to see some patterns.
Little ancestors. We have all these statues, and the faces of the statues do not look like the Easter Islanders. The statues they created, they look like robots with long, narrow noses, with narrow lips. They have nothing which compares the Easter Island people. So what do they represent?
They are elongated heads. They are also these cone heads that we see at Nazca in Egypt and other areas of the world. Who are these people?
One possible explanation.
You see the pharaohs, and they have those long, crowns, basically to hide their elongated heads, right? So we've seen some of these skeletal remains, and like he's talking about Peru and Egypt and so forth, of these elongated skulls, and these beings that seem to have where they carved or have similarities.
Years, they're built out of blocks of stone that weigh many, many tons. Not only are people building structures out of these huge megalithic blocks of stone, but this was going on around the world. And yet, supposedly, it's just primitive people doing this for no really good reason, it would seem.
I think one of the things that comes into our considerations of what ancient cultures could have accomplished is whether they were able to write it down or not. We're very tied to, if we have evidence that they wrote down how they did it, then we believe we know how they did it. So Egypt, we have a lot more writings and drawings that show them building the pyramids, give us an idea of the technology. If you go somewhere like Easter Island, we don't have any real written evidence of what they did. And sometimes that leads us to question their innovativeness.
3,000 miles away, in the Republic of Bolivia, stonework exists which is amazingly similar to the statues of Easter Island. Tiwanaku is, in fact, so ancient that it defies modern dating techniques. It is estimated to be over 17,000 years old, perhaps the oldest city in the world.
17,000 years old, right? So obviously humanity goes back much, much further, but they're finding more and more as time goes on. They're like, oh, look what we found. We found these underground cities that are connected, and there's like all these tunnels, and kind of like, you know, what we see in these military underground bases. But they were survival centers for people, obviously from ancient times, and they date back, you know, well over 17,000 years.
And somehow, the sculptures at Tiwanaku were constructed in the same style and with the same enigmatic expressions as their distant cousins on Easter Island.
A lot of the stuff with Tiwanaku you can see in earlier civilizations, all the way back, you know, before into the centuries BC in Peru. You see some of these same patterns, some of the same iconography, imagery, and you can see the ancestry of this.
The Southeast Pacific Ocean. Rapa Nui, or Easter Island as it has become known, is one of the most remote places on the planet. The nearest inhabited island is 1,100 miles to the west, and its nearest continental country, Chile, is over 2,000 miles away. Scattered around the perimeter of the island, most with their backs to the sea, stand nearly 300 massive stone figures known as the moai. Most are between 15 to 20 feet tall.
So it's like they're waiting for something to land and take them away, right? So nothing's coming from the sea, it's coming from the sky to land in the island and take them away.
Why did these people go to such great effort to build these giant statues? No one else in Polynesia was doing that. When you talk to the people of Easter Island today, the Rapa Nui people, they say that they were doing them to honor certain important ancestral ariki, or rulers. These moais are images of great ancestors.
Some ancient astronaut theorists have suggested that...
All right, so look at that redhead, just like the ones in Nevada, right? Lovelock. So it's very interesting, you know, how we start to see these similarities throughout all these different carvings and stonework and so forth.
And they were the priestly caste. They were directing the creation and the movement of these statues around the island.
They were said to be so tall that each of the crew could walk under the legs of these giants. The sheer size of the megaliths on Easter Island do suggest they were made by giants. There are legends all around the world.
So in the early 1700s, this island was discovered, and the giants were still there. They were still there. Like you hear them talking about how the crew members could walk underneath, in between the legs of these giants as they stood.
Linked with megalithic sites, which may give some clarity on who and how they actually built these sites.
Francis Mazière, a French ethnologist who conducted research on the island in 1963, recorded local legends that the first men to live on the island were of very large stature.
In his book, The Mysteries of Easter Island, Francis Mazière talks about that the first islanders of Easter Island allegedly were these tall, giant people.
There were inhabitants there that were 8 to 10, maybe even 12 feet high. And what do you automatically think of? Genesis in the Bible talks about how something that was non-human, perhaps angelic, perhaps extraterrestrial, saw the fair maidens of humans, had intercourse, and from that came the hybrids known as the giants of old.
Cusco, Peru. Here lie the impressive ruins of the ancient capital of the Inca Empire that thrived from the 13th to 15th century. Long suspected by ancient astronaut theorists to have been a place visited by extraterrestrial beings in the distant past.
All right, so I've been to this site and I did a remote view while I was there, and I saw this was a landing spot for alien craft.
Cusco is considered to be an axis mundi, which in religion or mythology means the center or navel of the world.
They are very important sites. And quite often when you start looking at some sites like Cusco, Cusco literally means navel of the world. It was the navel of the empire of the Inca. So Cusco isn't unique. We really find naval sites everywhere. And the naval sites are quite often the most important sites of a culture. Jerusalem is one, the Giza Plateau is another.
World navels, because they lie along the Earth's magnetic grid, were places where the ancients created what could only be called heaven's gates, altars, places where human beings could communicate with otherworldly entities.
Evidence can also be found connecting Cusco with another world naval over 2,000 miles away in the South Pacific, Easter Island. Although mainstream historians and archaeologists believe the two places were never in contact in ancient times, Cusco and Easter Island feature strikingly similar styles of stonework, with colossal, multi-sided stones precisely fitted as if each joint was welded together.
The walls at Cusco are identical to the walls we can find in the base foundations of some of the moais on Easter Island. And those two places are...
So my thoughts on that is that the stone was made soft through some kind of process that they had, and they were fitted together, right? And then allowed to re-solidify, and that's how we got those, multiple. I think there's one of them. I remember counting it. It was like something like 15 different, formations and different stones coming in and fitting amongst it. It's crazy stuff. All right. So is this something that we've seen in other areas? And yes, we have seen them in more recent times, these giants. All right. When I was in Afghanistan, there's the giant of Kandahar, a red-headed monster of mythical proportions. Now, when I was in Afghanistan working with CIA and so forth, one of the guys that I work with said that he had talked to and knew some of the guys, SEAL team guys, and I guess the CIA, because I was working for the CIA at the time, came in and basically took possession of this being after it was killed by the Navy SEALs, right? So let's look at that one. And this is where we'll close it out. But this stuff is still happening, guys. These beings are still out there. The giant of Kandahar. And the reason why the SEAL team guys came in and went to this cave and found this giant was because the locals were complaining that this giant was coming in and taking their not their crops, but their animals and so forth, and it may have even taken some of the children. So this is like we're talking about something that these beings do. So the giant of Kandahar tail, I don't believe it's a tail, I believe it's real, tells of U.S. military personnel, Navy SEALs, encountering a massive red-haired humanoid in the mountains of Afghanistan. According to the story, the creature was incredibly strong and domineering, standing over 12 feet tall. Eyewitnesses also claimed that the beast had 6 fingers on each hand and 2 rows of teeth. Many theories have emerged since first contact. Some believe the giant is related to the Nephilim, fallen angels, while others argue it was an exaggeration of local folklore. No, right? It was real, right? So according to the story, U.S. military personnel were on patrol in the mountains looking for it. And they found a cave and they went in. And I guess the guys that had, because I was an M60 guy. And so the heavy weapons guy was the guy that really made the impact on it. The guys with their, I call them pea shooters, the 5.56 guys, were trying to take it down and weren't having much luck. But the heavy weapons guy was the guy that really, brought him down. So the giant of Kandahar has gained attention on the internet. So it's just random. It's just a story that somebody made up. No, this stuff is not random. It's not stories that were made up, right? Why would they make a story up like that? And why would they involve Navy SEALs? I don't know. Maybe Navy SEALs don't have high integrity. Not right. So it's definitely something that happened, and these giants still exist here on Earth. They're around. Where they're at, remains to be seen, but we'll see. All right. That's my story of the fallen angels. All right, the Luciferians, and how they're still here, and they're still having an impact here on Earth. But there are other groups that are trying to make a positive impact. I believe in the past, we have been mostly involved with the positive ET races. And then a negative ET race came in and basically dominated and took over. And we're throwing off the control system of that domineering ET group, which, is into sacrifice, human flesh, human blood, children's blood, and so forth. And some of their offspring are still here and all around us, right? So, and some of these Hollywood elite and politicians and so forth are some of the genetic offspring of some of these Nephilim, right? That's my take on it. And I think in the future, this is going to be something that we'll understand on a better, more complete basis. As more of us start to reveal this stuff, then we can start to really, take down these Nephilim and their hybrid offspring that are still trying to control and manipulate us. Boy, there's a lot of chatting going on in here. I haven't looked at the chat, but I'm like flying through it right now. It's like, good God, how many? There must be thousands of chats in there. Right? Where's the new comments? Jeez, get all the way down to the bottom. She can afford custom shoes. Right, so who is that? So one of those Hollywood elite types. All right, Bigfoots are really Nephilim? Maybe. Could be. I don't think so. I think the Bigfoot are a different group. Cryptids. We have Dogmen and and not Nephilim, but the Sasquatch, the Bigfoot, however you want to call them. I think they're, maybe they're part of genetic manipulations. I don't know, but they can exist in and out of our dimensional realities. I think that they have the ability to move between dimensions and disappear to us, right? So there's and it's go get some dinner, MJ. Yes, so I'm going to do that. Thank you. All right, guys. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration, and I'll see you guys next time.